Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dave Neville, Senior Director of Brand Management for Callaway Golf, and excited to be here today to talk with you about the new Mack Daddy 4 line of wedges. We're calling this the new standard for wedge performance, and this really is a big upgrade for us from the MD3 line of wedges. Just starting with the shaping of the club, this is by far the most tested wedge we've ever had. Roger Cleveland spent almost 2 years out on tour, working with tour players, getting feedback, working with Randy Peterson down at our test center to get a shape that the players would really, really like. So shaping is big for this wedge, but really the big story with the new Mack Daddy 4 line of wedges is spin and this new groove and groove technology. I want to talk a little bit about what this is all about, starting with the main grooves themselves. So we now have horizontal milled, saw cut grooves, which we've never had before in a Callaway wedge. We have our own cutter that's proprietary to Callaway. So the wedge is fly cut, and then the main grooves are cut in. So they're a very aggressive groove. It's a 20-degree wall angle in the lower lofts and a 5-degree wall angle in the higher lofts. And in between each of these grooves, we have what we're calling a micropositive surface texture. So it's a series of micro grooves that are actually cut in with a different cutter. And these are much more aggressive than what we've used in the past when we use kind of a laser surface roughness pattern. So they're going to last longer, and they really help to give you more like 84 grooves on the ball instead of just 16. So we've really seen some great results in this new groove and groove technology in terms of our spin testing. One of the things you'll also see is this bottom groove, which we're calling a nip-it groove, and that allows you, if you do miss it a little bit low on short shots, on chip shots, on small pitches, that groove will still grab the ball and impart spin. So that's something we've gotten a lot of really good feedback on. We first had that in the Mack Daddy Forge line of wedges. We're also 100% inspecting all the grooves on these wedges. It's something that we've never done. We're doing that both for the tour and the consumer as well, to make sure that both the groove itself and the surface roughness is right up against the USGA limit. I want to talk a little bit about the grooves. The grinds in the new Mack Daddy 4. We have 4 grinds. You'll see 3 that may look familiar to you, the C, the S, and the W, and we have 1 new grind, the X grind. So in terms of the changes to the grinds, the C we made a little bit more aggressive. It's now 8 degrees across the board in all the models that are in the C grind. That was feedback to Roger from tour players that they wanted that C to be a little bit more defined, a little bit more aggressive. The S is going to be very similar with a little ribbon in the back as well. That'll be 10 degrees of bounce, and that's going to be in a lot of the different models in the S grind or our standard grind. And then the W grind, or the wide sole, is going to be 12 degrees of bounce in all of the models. And one of the things that Roger worked on with the W grind is tapering the sole. So in the past it was a constant taper, basically straight across. It was a very wide sole. So now it has some taper near the heel, making it more playable. It also has camber or radius in the sole, which allows you to open it up. And the new grind that we have is the X grind. This is one that Roger's extremely excited about. It has 12 degrees of bounce. We have this in the lob wedge, in the 58 and the 60, and this is really for a player who is aggressive into the ball, who is steep, but also wants to be a shot maker. It's really a better player's club, because there's a lot of players on tour that are quite aggressive with their irons and their wedges, so it has plenty of bounce for that, but it has a lot of relief, and it has that aggressive C-style sole, but with a lot more bounce. So it plays with 12 degrees of bounce. So 4 different grinds to fit just about every different type of style and every different type of condition as well. In terms of the shaft, we have the tour issue shaft from True Temper, the Dynamic Gold. We went with a 115 weight on this. Typically, in the past, the tour issue shafts were 128 to 130 gram weights, but one of the things we saw with irons is iron sets, the iron shafts are getting a lot lighter. There's a lot of XP95s, there's a lot of KBS in the 110 range. There's a lot of people using graphite in their irons. So we wanted to make that transition a little bit more seamless. So this is a 115 gram tour issue shaft. And then the grip is a premium UTX grip. It's similar to what we had in the MD forged lineup. And the next slide you'll see is the full lineup. We have two finishes. We have a platinum chrome and a matte black. We have machined medallions in the weight ports, which is a really, really high-end look that also allows us to position the CG where we want it. And once again, this is the most models that we've ever offered. So we have 21 different loft balance combinations in this lineup of wedges. So all in all, just a very, very premium package, tons of different options, really aggressive spin with the new Groove and Groove technology. And this is a lineup that has already been out on tour at the President's Cup in the fall series. We've had our best tour adoption that we've ever had on a Callaway wedge, and we're looking forward to a very successful launch of the new Mack Daddy 4 line of wedges. Once again, appreciate your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Dave Neville at Callaway, or you can reach out to Jeff Newton or Scott Gorel as well. Thank you.